Greetings. Welcome to the Little Discovery Corner. I think I will do another person reading today, because what I'm getting lately is that there is a certain someone on the mind of the collective who you are realizing the true nature of your feelings for, the strong, divine soul connection depth of your feelings. And you find that you're thinking about them a lot. You may, as I opened up, I heard you may be feeling obsessive, even ruminative. I think that's a word. But of course, that feeling obsessive, and if that's something you're worried about, that is an issue within that you may need to look at. Seven of Fire. That could be, in line with what I was saying, you feel like you're on fire for this person, and that is something I also got recently, was that you may be feeling charged toward this person, romantically. So that could be something you need to explore within yourself. If it's obsessive to a degree that worries you, and especially if you've been out of contact for a while. And you may need to sort that out within yourself. There is a certain level of, you may have an unhealthy attachment style that you may need to look at, and may need to perhaps recruit the help of a professional counselor to help you walk through. One of the songs that came into my mind is New by No Doubt. Yes, the Empress. Boy or girl, this is who they are to you. Someone of royalty, in command of themselves, and very high status to you, spiritually, emotionally. Yes, and you're feeling like you'd like to be on a pedestal. Okay, well, this is a reading on this person, not how you're feeling, so they do view you as somewhat on a pedestal, and kind of like the light in their mind, back of their mind. Good memories, good thoughts, and at times reminiscing and wishing things could have gone differently. Yeah, happy home, little kittens in a stable environment. But they felt they were treading through, carefully trying to maintain their balance in treacherous waters, emotional turbulence. And they were left feeling a bit high and dry, strung out emotionally, and they had to address that within themselves. They were probably feeling similar, obsessive, and ruminating on the connection, perhaps, missing you, having you on a pedestal. And I think they were hoping you'd follow the light towards, back to this person, back into connection. But yeah, the emotional waters of this connection got choppy, and ultimately left them feeling like this poor little guy after a situation fell apart. Yeah, they were hoping you'd follow the light, follow your intuition. But you ended up like this little guy, scared, okay, right? Scared and of, attack, maybe. That's why you're afraid to, they view you as having been afraid to pursue this connection, reconnect, and maybe, talk things through, open up with sincerity, because you were afraid of, say, perhaps, psychological warfare. And that could be something, if that's resonating with you, that could be something else to address with a counselor of some sort. Why a strong, heartfelt, genuine connection could make you feel afraid and run away. Now, this is supposed to be a Three of Cups, celebratory between friends, but these little guys seem so sad and depressed, and more, sad, strung out energy. So I think that's where the connection was left. And that's how they parted ways, feeling towards it. 9 of C. They think about how things could have been. But they realize that they may be putting you too much on a pedestal and, not factoring in personal fears and hang-ups that may need to be addressed, and vice versa. Things that could have been a life of abundance emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, but that you still have, your soul has a bit of growth to do, and perhaps some lessons to learn through spiritual battles. And that may be resonating. You may feel like you're in spiritual jail right now, like you would like to reconnect, but you could be afraid to. You could be under attack from certain characters in the story, in your community, your mutual circles. But they are in a more stable place personally, setting themselves up on their own little throne. And I want to say keeping themselves in, a safe, secure place. There's a thick wall here, and within the wall this cat has a nice comfortable home with this empty pedestal. So they're, nostalgic over the connection, but having to accept where they are now, where it is now. Yeah, pouring into themselves emotionally, pouring into their own emotional cup, and focusing on their own material stability. And this could possibly be new connections to stay in, keep their skies sunny. Oh yeah, an ending. After things fell apart. But you could be rising in to your own sense of mastery. And I believe they're sensing this. You're kind of growing and learning. Turning your own wheel. Yeah. Making your own fate. And I want to say, this cat, he's got his belly upturned. And they say that's a sign of trust. Some would argue it's a trap for attack. But a cat that turns his belly up for a rub is a cat that trusts you. And I think that's what they're hoping for, is that you will be willing to open up with trust towards them to support you in your personal hang-ups and things that you need to work on within yourself, as long as you come correct and open up that you are aware of things that you need to work on within yourself, and those are things you're learning. Okay. Maybe I'll get out what's the tea. Okay. What else do we need to know about the person on scarcity tactics? Maybe they felt like you were making yourself scarce. And perhaps the community by whom you may feel under attack right now or recently, in recent history, was bullying them online. Oh, they do. Part of them still wants you back, but they are trying to move on. What's this? Moving on. A part of them, still thinks about you warmly, as I said, with, reminiscing and nostalgia. But they're behind that wall, that protective wall in that fruitful garden with the empty pedestal, blocking and moving on. What did I just say? Moving on again. Anything else? Are they open to reconnecting? They are open to reconnecting. They are focused on moving forward in their life. So the ball is in your court if you want to renew this connection. They want you to, prove that you're committed. Show them some love, show them some humility, and some offerings of not just, maybe a bouquet of flowers if you're talking about a lady friend, but, open up with a bouquet of emotional sincerity. Say maybe being honest about her egos, maybe operating out of unconscious ego and letting deep subconscious emotional wounds influence your decision making too much. Do you feel like you're experiencing a lot of bad luck? That could have been, they may be believing that it's because of decisions you made out of ego protection, damaged unconscious ego. Fake flexing, okay, and this coupled with this, maybe fake flexing was tied to cyberbullying, something that, whatever situation they were moving on in from by blocking, moving away, thought it was like bad for them to stick around. And they worry that any openness you offer might be just for show, just a mask. And you may be currently growing out of the mentality of operating out of unconscious ego, but anyone in mutual circles, anyone in your circle who was attacking this connection, this person maybe feel threatened as they try to stick to moving on, living their life in a truthful and conscious, highest self way. I think they are worried about community of spiritually bankrupt haters attacking them. They do believe that this past is something you're reflecting on and possibly growing and learning from, but they would need to see proofs, and that would include opening up with accountability and vulnerability. That's the offer they need. It's carless. That's the offer they need. Otherwise, your car won't go towards, like this connection won't move or renew. I want to say caught a case of the love bug. That's you. But are you willing to be open about how you really feel? Or are you going to keep up the mask and run again? Okay. Last but not least, I will get out my self-made deck to see what this person would say if they could be open and honest with you right now. Okay. What would this person say to the collective? What's on their mind towards them right now? This cycle of going back and forth is draining, and I have to stop and walk away. All right, moving on, walking. That could be how they really feel about maybe you and this person have tried to reconnect and tried to renew ties, and it ends with, say, you worrying about, feeling afraid of opening up, maybe going back to old habits, old patterns, old ego, protective ego, like defensive ego decisions. Anything else? I need someone willing to do the work of addressing their inner demons so they can heal. Okay, that's what they're hoping for. They were hoping for you to move towards the light of the truth of this connection, that strong, earnest, open, soul-felt connection. Be willing to admit that to yourself and not be afraid of it, and work on that in yourself. If you are, I wasn't the right option. Okay, maybe they felt like you made them feel like an option with the back and forth, and do you still love me? I think they know that you have genuine feelings for them, but they need you to show that and be open about that. It's too late. I had to move on for my own good. Okay, that fits right in with the move cards, moving on cards. Maybe numerology to close out with some advice going forward for the collective. So this person does seem to have mixed feelings. They still care for you and have warm feelings towards you, but they are afraid. They are trying to also protect themselves and their truth and their authenticity, protect their heart from going around in circles on a cycle of like running away, chasing, running. Meditate and contemplate. Wow, that fits right in on any, baggage that may cause you to run from a connection, this connection that you feel very strongly about. Be bold and make the first move. All right, so this came out right on top of it's too late. I had to move on. That's how they're feeling right now. But as I said, they are open to reconnecting, but it would be up to you to make it happen. And that would take meditating, contemplating on your own personal hang-ups first. What do you need to release? Yeah. Figuring out what you need to work on. Obsessions you may need to let go of, like including this person. Like you need to be able to detach, fill your own emotional cup first. Assure yourself that you're worthy with or without this person in your life so that you can pour into them in the way that they deserve. Offer them the openness, honestness, sincerity, authenticity that they desire for a healthy, happy, equal give and take connection. Don't let your past hold you back, right? And look at the bigger picture. One more. To finish this, complete this little triangle. Any last words? Hold your vision. Fixed moon. All right. If you've made it this far into the reading, please drop a heart in the comments, click like, subscribe to the channel. I hope that this has helped someone out there today. I will see you next time.